Hello and welcome to another installment of Metallic Reviews, the show where I take an honest look at the harder, heavier side of music and give it an honest rating. Today, we dive into one of my most anticipated albums of the entire year from one of my favorite bands of all time. Yes, it's Swedish melodic / alt metal legends Soilwork and their new one, Overgivenheten, released August 19th on Nuclear Blast. Now, Soilwork have been around for well over 20 years, and they've done this record thing a time or two. Has time been kind to them? Let's find out. Let's make one thing clear. This is definitely present-day Soilwork. This is not going to be a return to their chain heart machine, steel bath suicide days of old. There's no massive cavernous tributes to death metal bands on here. It's still neo-alt metal / metalcore Soilwork. For me, that's terrific, but it might not reel in those fans of yore who want the band to return to that heavier, chunkier sound. In other words, Overgivenheten is not really an album for everyone, but for people who have an appreciation for the more melodic side of metal, it absolutely rocks. The band have not lost their penchant for writing absolutely lilting songs with chord progressions that simply soar over the greater soundscape. Vocalist Bjorn Strid is on point throughout this entire album. Whether he's offering his trademark screech-based rough vocals or his equally patented high cleans, nothing is out of place here. For instance, the song Vultures, which is actually my favorite song off the record, is over 5.5 minutes of Strid offering one of his best vocal performances ever. Between screams and singing, he manages to find a happy medium throughout the album, as he has done on the band's 3 or 4 previous releases. I've also got to give it up to the band itself for offering an excellent musical performance. Guitarists Sylvain Coldray and David Anderson do a terrific job in both exercising restraint and having the creative freedom to surround the central nucleus of each song with enough solos and noodling to keep the listener interested. Keyboardist Sven Karlsson holds down the fort with some terrific backing sounds, especially when the rest of the band falls away and he's allowed to bounce around on the piano and his synthesizers just a little bit. New bass player Rasmus Ernborn does a great job holding everything together, plugging away in the back, thickening the overall mix, and bouncing around in perfect deference to everybody else. My only problem with the overall music is drummer Bastian Thusgaard. He's a fantastic young drummer, a student of Dirk Verberen, and his performance on the album does get better as things go along. But for the first half or so, it seems like a redux of the previous album Verkligheten. He leans really heavy on the blast beats before breaking off into simple patterns that, honestly, I've heard him do before. When the album shifts after the 8th track or so, he turns up the chops a bit, and the performance is a lot rawer and a lot more full of power. And that's when it becomes truly fascinating. As far as out-and-out negatives from the album go, there aren't many aside from the length itself. I love me some Soilwork, but an hour and 5 minutes is just a little overindulgent, and I'd say that about any band. Too much of anything, even things as good as this album, just aren't good. It creates a hole inside the listener, placing boredom at its center and repetitiveness as its highest priority. It's true of a lot of albums, but it's especially true here. By track 13 on this 14-song album, a lot of the chording feels similar, and Strid's vocal patterns begin to run together just a little bit. But all in all, Soilwork have released another absolute banger of an album. It's a definite album of the year contender for me. If they chopped off a few minutes at the end and completely left out one of the tracks that I feel was just a little bit flailing, it'd be even more so. Other than that, it is yet another musically sound, terrifically written, brilliantly executed disc from a band that I have come to expect a ton out of. They definitely meet a lot of my expectations here. It gets a very, very strong 4.5 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching. Click like, subscribe, and do not forget to ring the bell for more weekly Metallic reviews. Next week, we're going to be heading from alt metal, melodic metal world into groovier, chunkier territory as we examine Machine Head's new album of Kingdom and Crown. I hope you'll join me. You've been watching Metallic Reviews, where I give honest ratings to honest music. I'll see you all next time.